Hazbin Hotel, Yandere Alastair x Vaggie. By In God's Hands. Chapter 1. Vaggie woke up with a slight headache. She sat up on the bed and rubbed her neck as she looked around the room that she did not remember entering. Vaggie was lying on a queen-sized back backed into the room's right corner. The bed had nice wood paneling on its bed frame and weird carvings. She looked closer and realized that little deer were carved into the woodwork. She noticed a bedside table with a lamp and a radio and a tall bottle of water, a mirror hanging on the wall next to the bed, large windows behind her looking over hill, and a small full bathroom on the other side of the room. But besides that, the room was completely bare. Strange. Vaggie had never been in this hotel room before. "Hello," Alastair said, suddenly pushing the bedroom door open and strutting over to the bed. "How are you feeling?" "Yeah, what happened?" Vaggie asked, sitting herself up on the bed. "Oh, you fainted, dear," Alastair said, stopping at the foot of the bed and leaning on his cane. "So, I thought you could use some rest." "That is unexpectedly nice of you," Vaggie said, getting to her feet, brushing herself off, and preparing to leave since she didn't like being in the radio demon's presence longer than she had to. "Thanks. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd better go check in with Charlie." "Wait," Alastair said, sliding in front of her and gently pushing her back on the bed. "There is something I need to tell you, Vaggie, dear." "Okay," Vaggie said suspiciously. "But make it quick. I've got things to do." "Vaggie, I don't know how to say this," Alastair said, dramatically sitting back on the bed next to her. "Ever since you first shoved that spear at my face, you've fascinated me. Honestly, you have." "Oh, God," Vaggie said fearfully while Alastair continued rambling obliviously. "I mean, most demons know who I am and tremble at my very presence, but you knew who I was when I first came to the hotel, and still you didn't hesitate to stand up to me despite your comparative weakness. I've tried, but I can't forget about it. This is going exactly where I think it's going. Isn't it? I can't stop thinking about you, your courage, your brashness, your fierceness, your moxie. It has consumed my every waking thought. It makes me feel emotions I have never felt before and cannot really explain. God, why? I think I might be in love with you." "This can't be happening," Vaggie whined. "Why me, God?" "So, I have to ask, my dear," Alastair finally said. "Do you feel the same way about me?" "No," Vaggie said without a shred of hesitation as she rose to her feet. "Absolutely not. You disgust me." "Oh?" Alastair asked. "Is that the way you feel?" "Ah, yes," Vaggie said as she took the water bottle off the nightstand, took a sip, and started walking towards the open door. "Sorry. I'm sure you can find another demoness who's into cannibalism and mass murder, but I'm not the one. I'll see you later." "I am so sorry to hear you say that," Alastair replied somewhat sadly. Clink. Suddenly, as she came within 2 meters of the door, Vaggie felt resistance on her left foot that kept her from moving forward. "What the hell?" Vaggie said out loud in annoyance as she looked down at her foot. To her horror, there was a shackle around her left foot with a chain that extended all the way back to the bed. Before she could even react, Alastair was standing over her with his sadistic smile. "What the fuck is going on here?" Vaggie snarled threateningly. "I demand an answer." "Vaggie, sweetheart, I already told you," Alastair replied. "You fascinate me. You fascinate me more than anyone else has ever fascinated me. I don't know why exactly, but you're too interesting to leave alone, my dear." "Where the hell am I?" Vaggie yelled angrily. Alastair twisted his head to the side and said, "You're quite sharp, too. You're in my humble abode. Far away from any of your friends at the hotel. Don't worry. I left a note explaining everything. They know you're in my care, but neither they nor you can do anything about it. Look, if you want my services, you can have them, but unchain me right now," Vaggie retorted fearlessly, staring into his eyes as much as her shorter height would allow. "What?" Alastair replied in surprise. "What kind of mindless brute do you take me for? I don't want to make love to you like some kind of tomcat in heat. Disgusting. I want to win you over. Make you mine. Tame the shrew out of you and see if I can get you to reciprocate my affections." "There's no chance in hell of that ever happening," Vaggie said more quietly but more cruelly than before. "I hate you. You got it? I would rather be sent to the lake of fire and burn for all eternity than pretend even for 1 minute that I feel anything for a piece of shit like you." "We'll see about that, sweetie," Alastair replied before he was interrupted by another kingpin, a woman in Victorian dress. "Oh, there you are, Alastair," Rosie replied from the doorway. "Is that the demoness you were telling me about on the phone?" "The very one," Alastair replied, looking over his shoulder. "Oh, Alastair, she's absolutely adorable," Rosie exclaimed. "When's the wedding?" Vaggie grimaced as Alastair walked to the door and replied, "I'm afraid that's a long way off, Rosie. Currently, Vaggie doesn't care much for me at all." "I'm sure you can change that, dear," Rosie reassured. "If I do say so myself, you are quite charming. Now, did you want me to wait or do you still want to take our tea?" "I'll be ready in just a minute," Alastair said, putting his hand on the doorknob. "Just let me finish getting my guests settled in. Do you mind waiting?" "Oh, not at all," Rosie replied with a twisted smile. "Take your time." "I'm afraid I must leave you, Vaggie, my dear," Alastair said, turning back around. "I have some personal matters to attend to that cannot wait. The chain you're wearing is long enough to reach the bathroom should you need to bathe or powder your nose. I packed that room with all the feminine hygiene products you might need. The cook shall bring your dinner in a few hours. For obvious reasons, your portable phone has been confiscated, but for your entertainment, you have the radio and I almost forgot. Catch." Alastair tossed Vaggie a book. She caught it in her hands and read the title. It was The Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare. "If you're extra good, I'll bring you some more," Alastair said in a sing-song tone as he started pulling the door shut behind him. "I'll see you later, love. Have a fabulous evening." Vaggie saw the door shut and heard a few locks turning on the other side. Vaggie's anger reached a fever pitch as she threw the book at the door and screamed, "Alastair, you son of a bitch! You will not keep me here. You hear me? I'm going to escape. Fuck you and your stupid emotions." In the hallway, Rosie took Alastair's arm as she said, "She's quite the character. I can see why you find her so endearing."
I'm glad you enjoyed that video/gameplay. Just remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, goodbye!